a long time, I've been wanting to talk to our first guest of the day. He has been in the news. He has been very active this year. He wasn't active last year, and that wasn't his doing. But of course, it was a crazy time to be alive. It's still a crazy time to be alive. But that's all in the rearview mirror. Why? Because he returns to action on Friday, part of the PFL tournament. He is one win away from moving on to the finals. He's going up against the very tough, the very game Movlid Khaybulaev in the main event of the PFL event this Friday on the ESPN family of networks. He is the pride of Manchester, England. He is the one and only Brendan Loughnane, who is kind enough to join us right off the bat via the magic of Zoom. Do we got him? Yeah? Brendan? Where's he at? There he is, the one and only Brendan. What's going on, Brendan? How are you?
What a fantastic introduction that was. Wow. Thank you, Ariel.
I'm trying to get you pumped up for Friday, 48 hours away, Brendan. We are on this tour to prove everyone wrong, to shove it down the haters' throat. All of them. I'm not just talking about one, Brendan. I'm talking about all of them. You need me to fly down to Florida to be your hype man, to walk you out? What do you need from me?
So far, so good, Ariel. Everyone, so far, so good. We're doing a good job, aren't we? Since the first time we spoke, we're just riding an amazing wave. And wow, what a time to be alive, eh?
It is. 48 hours away. Hopefully you get the opportunity to move on to the finals. What a time it has been for you. Have you stayed in America this whole time? Have you not gone back home? Because I see you in Vegas. What's been going on?
Wow, I left my house on the 23rd of September last year.
You're kidding.
And nah, I'm not joking. I've not been home, not seen my family. I've just been out here chasing the dream, as they say, the American dream.
Is that because you can't go home because of COVID and the visa, or was that your choice?
So it was a combination of things. First of all, I couldn't go home was because PFL was like, when you hear like the borders are closing and things, I didn't want to take the risk. And as we're seeing with UFC London, people losing visas and can't get back out here. And it was for my own thing. But I was like, well, I'm going to have to just find a way. And yeah, I mean, I've been on this journey now. Like I said, left my house in September, went to Dubai 6 months, came to the States. I've now been here since my first fight against Shaman. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
That is unbelievable. Now, forgive me for prying. Do you have children?
No.
Okay. Significant other?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend, and my mum's on her own, so it's hard.
So you haven't really seen them since September? Your significant other, your girlfriend, and your mom, you haven't seen them since September?
My girlfriend was in Dubai, so I've seen her. But yeah, my family, my friends, my godchildren, nope.
And if you win this fight, the finals will be in several weeks. What is it? End of October, I believe it is. Is it end of October?
The 27th.
Yeah. So will you just ride this out if all goes well? You're going to ride this out to the very end?
Well, I've kind of made it a thing now to not go home without the belt and the check. I'm like, nah, I'm not coming home until I can envision myself throwing the belt in the suitcase and going, right now I'm coming home.
I love it. What a great story that would be, especially considering everything that you've been through. I saw an interview with you, Brendan, recently, and I got to call you out on this because you know what? I like you a lot, but I'm going to call BS on this, Brendan. I'm calling BS. You said that the PFL belt means more to you, correct me if I'm wrong, than the $1 million check. There is no chance in hell that is true. I mean, let's just be honest. It's $1 million, Brendan. That's life-changing money. There's no chance that is actually true, correct?
Okay, let me pick that apart for a second. When I was on your show, how down was I? Was I down?
Very down.
Very, very down. Okay, so to come from that to where I am now, I feel like it symbolizes going from getting told, no, you're not good enough, you're not that guy, and then to go on the roller coaster that I've been on and to get that piece of metal, yeah, $1 million is fantastic. But what I said was, money does come and go in your life, and it always will do. It'll always pass through your hands. But that, I will just look at it and go, I did it.
I know what it represents. I know that it's something that you could put on your mantle. I know it's something that, you can tell your children about, all that. But, that's, again, you've done great things. I know with the signing bonus, you bought your mom her house, right? You paid it off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could do great things for your family. You can't necessarily go to the bank and, plop that belt down there and get some money out of the ATM, right? That's all I'm saying.
Well, listen, $1 million is $1 million. But once you US taxmen get hold of it, and once everyone else gets the little fingers in it, it doesn't look like $1 million at the
I
end.
hear you. By the way, is it $1 million on top of your purse, or is that like the cumulative number?
To be confirmed. I think it's a cumulative.
Okay. Oh, either way.
Who cares? I'm not going to turn my nose up at 800,000. You know what I mean?
Of course. Absolutely. Obviously, every time you fight, the story is, oh, this was the guy who looked so good on Contender Series. Dana White said he couldn't get in because he went for the shot with 5 seconds left. There's the GIF, all that nonsense, whatever. Does it bother you that is continuously a thing that is attached to you every time? Look what he's doing. Look how he's proving them wrong. This and that. Does that annoy you? Or has it kind of given you an identity? Has it rallied your fans around you? Has it actually ended up being a good thing for you?
Well, you did tell me, if you're not mistaken, you're like, Brendan, this will work out better for you. And at the time, I couldn't see it. A lot of people were saying that this is going to be better in the long run. But I feel like it's something that's always going to be attached to my career. So I have to embrace it. What's the point in saying, oh, I don't want to? Every time it's brought up in an interview, it gets brought up 3 or 4 times a day in interviews. Like, I'm that guy. Like, it's always going to be attached to me. It's part of my story now. And I feel like you're watching a real life Rocky story unfold under your eyes. That's literally what it's been called.
Well, it has made you into somewhat of a sympathetic figure, an underdog, someone that people want to rally around, and then you come back after the year off, after the COVID shutdown of PFL. They took the hiatus last year, and then you get that amazing win in the finish. I would venture, I mean, how many, off the top of my head, how many wins we got here? We got 21 wins at this point. So that was 2 wins ago. So going into that fight, you had 19 wins, if my math is correct here. I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, you have never felt better at any point in your athletic career than you did right after you knocked out Shaman Rice. Is that accurate?
Did you see how crazy I went? I was screaming. That was just so much pent-up emotion of the year and a half off, the Contender Series, the people putting me as a massive betting underdog. I was plus 7,000 to win this tournament. Plus 7,000,
wow.
And here I am.
Was it that?
Exactly. I'm sat as the number 1 seed. Exactly. I'm sat as the number 1 seed now. And it's like I'm saying, I told you so.
I mean, what a great finish. What a exclamation point. You're the underdog going into this fight on Friday too, right?
Every time.
Is that crazy? Did you bet on yourself plus 7,000? Please tell me you did, or at least someone you know did.
So I only found that out not long ago. Somebody DM'd me on Twitter who's a professional gambler, and he was like, thanks, bro. Like, you're making me some money every time you are making me money. And I'm like, I'm not going to say no name, but this guy has made a lot of money so far.
Well, good for him. That is unbelievable. Plus 7,000 sounds crazy to me. Has anyone ever told you, explained to you, there has to be another reason why they didn't pick you up, right? Like, you know the real story. What's the real story? It can't be that takedown with 5 seconds left. I refuse to believe this, Brendan. There has to be something that is the real reason behind the scenes as to why this didn't happen. What is it? Tell us.
I wish I knew, Ariel. I would share it with you. No comment.
No comment?
No comment. I just don't know. I really don't know. I mean, maybe it was the takedown. Who knows?
That is a crazy. Do you even watch it? Are you able to watch the product? Or do you have sort of disdain for it?
No, not at all. Listen, the UFC is the UFC. I love watching the UFC. I've got so many friends that are fighting in the UFC. I actually don't hate Dana White. Everyone's like, oh, I don't. I think it's hilarious. I'll still watch all these interviews. I have no hatred towards that man whatsoever. No hatred towards the UFC. I'm happy with the journey that I'm on now. It's made me the man who I am now. It made me grab my nutsack and go, right, do you really want this? And it made me into the fighter that I am now.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good that you don't have that hate in your heart. The English fans can be a very passionate bunch, a very loyal bunch. Like we've seen, of course, what they did for Michael Bisping, Darren Till now. Do you feel that love from them, or do you still feel maybe because you're not in the UFC yet that they haven't rallied around you as much as, you know, Till, Bisping, even Leon Edwards these days as well?
It's hard for me to tell, Ariel, because I've not been home since September, like I said. So, well, I'll give you an example. One of my best friends, he was away for 6 months, and he came home and he went, Brendan, people are just stopping me in the street, my hairdresser, the guy at the local store, like, oh, Brendan's doing amazing things. And I don't know if you've noticed, Sky Sports have picked it up now, ESPN, The Insider, like, it's going up and up every time. So it feels like it's gaining momentum, but it's hard to tell when I'm not at home. But we are very loyal. I've always had a loyal support. Like, you know, I've got a few soccer player friends, a few boxer friends, and everyone stayed in touch. And it does feel like everyone's getting behind me. And, it doesn't go unnoticed or underappreciated ever.
I notice, obviously when Darren Till fights, Liverpool will support him. When Molly McCann fights, my beloved Everton Football Club will support her as well. Why don't I see Manchester United supporting you? Or are you a Man
you
City?
Did see that.
Are you a Man City
You
guy?
did. Wait, hold on. You did see the United. You seen the Rashford videos. You seen the Lingard videos. You seen the United team sending out videos. Yeah, they're all on board.
Wasn't that like 2 years ago? Where's the support right now? Where's the support right now, Brendan? I want it now. I want a tweet from the Manchester account.
That's a good point. I better get back onto these guys and I need it now more than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're right there. We're on the precipice. We're on the doorstep of $1 million. This is unbelievable. You've been training with a lot of famous people, Brendan, over your almost year away from home. I saw you with Freddie Roach, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, I've trained with Freddie Roach on and off for about 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
And when I say train with him, I'm not going to be that guy. He doesn't pad me. I've sparred one of his guys. I go in there and I just have really cool conversations with him. Like last time I was there, I finished my workout, an hour and a half of old school stories about all the old boxers. Yeah.
I love
Freddie
that.
Roach time.
Yeah.
It was sick.
That is amazing. I bet he's got stories for days with the guys that he's cornered. Also, were you training with Frank Mir as well?
Frank Mir was the head coach at Syndicate where I just did my last camp, yeah. But I knew Frank from a long time ago because Frank actually commentated all my ACB fights.
Uh-huh.
So we would go out after. Me and Frank were cool anyway. And he came to Manchester for a while as well. He's a glorified man, Frank Mir, on the sly.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. He spent a lot of time in Manchester. Once you've done over like 6 weeks and you've been with the boys, you're a glorified man. You understand the lingo.
Okay. I've been to Manchester once. It was for 48 hours. I did a pay-per-view thing with Connor. We did like a sit-down interview, and there was a black tie event and all that. I didn't get to see much, but I felt the love there. I felt like they welcomed me with open arms.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You went to Manchester and didn't go to a football game.
It was literally. It might have even been 36 hours. It might have even been less. It was a January in 2017, I think it was.
How dare you have that Everton Cup in the back and go to England and not go to a football game? Wow.
I know. I was in and out. I was all biz. So you have these famous guys that you kind of dabble with, but as far as your coaches are concerned, have they been able to travel back and forth? Or are they staying with you? Or do you have to get new coaches to corner you for these fights in America? What are you doing?
This man that you can see here.
Oh, I see a hand. Yep.
He as my first coach from when I was 16 years old, taught me my first punch. And he's still my coach now. 13 years deep we are. And he's only ever missed one corner, and that was the last one, just due to coronavirus and couldn't get back in and out. Seems to like Florida have eased up now. Because don't forget, Ariel, it was a 17-day quarantine. And then when he went home, he had to do another 10 days. So 27 days for a 2-minute fight.
I mean, it would have been with pleasure. It's probably a little worse if you lose, but I can understand why. So now there's no quarantine, right?
Well, I think it's quarantine, but it's very loose. It's like 3 days, 4 days.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at least, you know what? At least they got us fights. Nobody got pulled off the card due to Corona. I see why they did it, and it worked.
Prior to the beginning of this season, that fight against Shaman Rise, the incredible knockout, a knockout we'll probably be talking about in December when we're talking about the year-end awards. Your previous fight was December of 2019, so we're talking a year and a half. How difficult was that for you to be on the sidelines? At that point, come summer of 2020, UFC is back and rolling, Fight Island and all, Vegas, Bellator is back, boxing is back, and PFL made the decision to take the year off. You sitting on the sidelines and seeing everyone getting fights and getting paid and not being able to be active, considering all the drama of the previous year and contenders, mentally, how difficult was it?
Oh, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I was 30 years old. I was going into that season like I was about to go into this season, like to win it, to put on these performances. I've always been capable of these performances. And I flew out to Thailand in January. I got all the way up until, I think it got cancelled in April. I'd done a full camp and I was like 4 or 5 weeks away from the first event. And then I got told it was getting pulled till the following April. I was like, what? So once it got pulled for that long, I mean, I was sparring Peter Yan for that. I was sparring Rafael Faziev. I was in their camps for when he was fighting Aldo. Wow. So I was just like, I'm here now. Like, let's just carry on. Like, I had 2 options. It was either go and find something else to do for a year and a half, or stick to your craft, master it even more, and then when the time comes back, you'll be more than ready. And that's what I did.
Did you consider, I know they were giving those payments, monthly payments and all that. Did you take that, or did that not really do much for you?
Yeah, I got paid for the time off.
Okay. So do you feel like overall, are you happy with PFL? You know, no one could have expected last year to go down the way it did, but do you feel like they've treated you well? Are you content with them?
Listen, with PFL, right, they took me at a low time when I just happened on the contender. They gave me a signing bonus, which I was able to do, you know what, with. And then after that, I fought at Madison Square Garden. And then I fought at the Mandalay Bay. 2 dreams were ticked off immediately. And now I'm 1 fight away from $1 million, well, $800,000 or whatever it is. But like, who would have thought it? You couldn't write this. This is a real life Rocky story unfolding in front of us. And thank you to the PFL, man, like for picking me up at that time and realizing my star potential, because I've always had it in me.
I'm not just saying this because you're, you know, in front of me here, but from a production standpoint, the look, the feel of the events, the broadcast, like I feel like PFL has grown up a lot. Like when I watch them, I don't think, oh, there's the number 3 promotion. I don't feel like it's an inferior product. I think the roster has gone better. Some of the signings haven't panned out this year, but that's the sport of MMA. It's not pro wrestling. You can't script it. I feel like they've had a great year thus far. I mean, there's still a couple of events left, but thus far a great year. Like when you watch it, do you feel the same? Do you feel like this is a legit professional, you know, mainstay in the world of MMA that's not going anywhere?
Well, I have fought for a lot of major promotions. I have fought in the UFC. I've fought in the UFC card. I've fought in ACB. I've fought in some big shows. And it's the big show feel. Like you get here, look at this hotel. The hotel's amazing that I'm in. You know, you get looked after. And then when you turn up on fight night, it's professional. And the products that you actually watch on TV, the new cameras that they've got, the HD. And I'm like watching it and like, wow, this show has stepped up a lot. I mean, what is it, the 3rd or 4th season? I mean, they're doing great things and they're on the ESPN. They've got that ESPN deal, which is amazing. So I feel like PFL are going to be a force to reckon with in the future for sure.
I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, a neighbor was the one who introduced you to MMA many moons ago, a neighbor of yours. Is that accurate?
Yep. So what happened was he was an MMA fighter when MMA wasn't even a thing. We're talking about 2007, 2006. And then he was like, I was coming home from school. It was one of them headlocks straight in the back of the car. Come on, son. And I never looked back.
Wow. And is this man still around?
This man is still around. I'm still very close. I am actually the godfather to his children.
Wow.
And I'm eternally grateful to Benjamin Walker. I even love that I said his name as well.
Well, I'm happy that you said his name. I was just going to ask you to give him a shout out. I mean, does he ever say to you, I can't believe that like this turned into all of this. Like I was just trying to maybe show you a few moves and now you're a pro fighter on the verge of all these great things. Do you ever have that conversation with him?
Well, it's so funny you say that because I was actually speaking to him a few days ago and me and Ben are very close and I always looked up to him. And I only ever seen Ben cry once. It was on his wedding day. I went to his wedding and he was like, and this guy was the cage fighter. And I was like, wow, did he just cry? Is it okay for Ben to cry? And then we were actually talking about a week ago and I started saying, you know, I've not been home, I've not seen my family, this, that. And he just started crying. I was like, whoa, yeah. And he was like, I'm so fucking proud of you and what you've done. Like, look at what you're doing since I put you in the back of that car. You've just not turned back and you've gone for it. I'm so proud of you, son. I was like, whoa. And that took me back. It did.
Wow, you're giving me goosebumps. How old were you when he first, was showing you in the back of the car and all that stuff? How old were you?
Well, he was my next door neighbor for 5 years or 6 years. So I was always watching him. And then it was towards my last year in high school, like 16, when I was kind of ready. And then that's when he took me.
What do you think you would be doing if you don't meet this man and he doesn't show you this sport? Like, what do you think your life is like?
I knew I would have been successful. I'm so gritty and determined. As you can see from my MMA career, it speaks volumes of what type of person I am. I'm extremely resilient. I don't back down. And whatever I would have put my hand to, I would have been successful. I feel like I'm an artist at heart as well because I do embrace the mixed martial arts side of it.
There have been ups and downs, as we've documented. Correct me if I'm wrong. There have been times where you even thought about quitting, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, a fighter would be lying if they said the thought of quitting MMA didn't cross their mind at some point.
When's the last time you thought about quitting?
Oh, God, that was the last time I was talking to you.
It was that bad?
I was talking to you, I was pissing blood. I had a broken nose. I had my dreams crushed. And I was like, this is all I've ever worked for. Where do I go now? What do I do now? And then, when you had me on this, I remember I can't even watch that interview, I really can't watch our last interview back because It just brings back how I felt at that time. And to come from there to be this smiley guy in front of you now, what a time.
It's a beautiful thing. But how long, like those wounds, how long did they take to heal for you to feel a bit better about training and getting back on the horse, so to speak? How long did you mourn what happened on the Contender Series?
Not long, because PFL was straight in with a massive offer. PFL were like, hey, listen, like Bellator had an offer and one championship. I had a few. So like I had to kind of move fast. I didn't have time to mope around, which was good, really. I didn't have time to sit and think about it too much. I was just back on the horse. But definitely for the first few days, I was thinking, what now?
Dominic Cruz with you over there?
Not this time, but I did do not this camp, the last camp with Dominic, but he's always on the phone and he's always supportive.
Yeah, I like your relationship very much. Movlid is a tough guy, wrestler, another one of those tough Dagestani fighters. I feel like you know what he's going to bring to the table here, right? How do you feel about going up against one of those guys? Because it always feels like the worst night possible going up against. They're miserable to fight. I mean, all credit to them. They're incredible, but they just make life very miserable for their opponent is what I mean.
Listen, anyone from that gym, from that, from that trains around Khabib or with Khabib or from there, because he actually does train with Khabib, you know what I mean? Like he's not just one of them, like he is his sparring partner, there's pictures of him sparring, whatever. And he's 17-0, so he's got the Khabib aura. But I'm not scared of no one, and people are forgetting who I am. 21-3, I'm the top seed. I'm the one that went through as the top seed. Like, don't forget, put some respect on my name too.
Let's go, Brendan.
I'm just sick of the interviews though. Like, have you watched his flying knees? You know he's trains with Khabib. You know, and I'm like, yes, I do know. I have seen his highlight flying knees. Have you seen my flying knees? Like, that's my response.
Good man. Good man. I love it. Well, it goes down this Friday. You are back. What a great story. It's one of my favorite stories in MMA right now, what you've been able to do this year. And coming off of last year, you may have lost momentum, and you came back with a vengeance, and you're shoving it down everyone's throat, and you're an inspiration to anyone out there who's been told, hey, you can't do this, or I'm going to be your roadblock, and you're not good enough, and you can't enter this club. That's you, and I hope people realize it, and I hope people are rooting for you and telling you that, because you are an inspiration, my friend. It's a beautiful story that we got to see unfold in front of our eyes. Sometimes when someone gets told no, I'm sorry for going on this tangent here, but I feel like I have to. When someone gets told no, when someone gets told that their dreams aren't going to be realized, it happens behind the scenes. It happens in some room. It happens on the phone. It happened to you on national television. And so we all got to see that. And so that's why everyone's hitching their wagon to you and pulling for you and emotionally invested in your journey. And I hope it all pans out for you with that big $1 million check later on this year, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for exposing my journey even further and getting me on here so everyone can see, what it's been for the last year or two. So yeah, thank you, Ariel. Appreciate it.
All the best to you. We'll be watching on Friday. Good luck, Brendan.
Thank you so much.
All right, there he is, Brendan Loughnane, the #1 seed.